Welcome to the Think to Write Lab No Knots for kindergarten through second grade. In this lab, we're going to take a look at what happens when we include not statements in our comparisons. If you catch yourself doing that, just know that it leaves out a lot of really good information that your reader wants to know. And so in this lab, what we're going to do is actually train our brains to stop when we want to say not and replace it with clear, precise details that help our reader better understand both of the things we're comparing. So in this lab, our thinking focus is to say what something is or does instead of what it is not. And why this matters is because when we do those not statements in our writing, it often sounds weak because it lacks clarity and it lacks depth. And we don't want that. We are much smarter and much more talented than that. So in this lab, we are going to look at pictures. We're going to talk through ideas. We're going to revise some not statements and do that through both speaking and writing some improved sentences. We are definitely not going to be writing paragraphs, and this is not silent and alone independent work. We want to collaborate. We want to talk to each other. We want all of our brains to get smarter and better at comparisons by talking through this lab and working on it together. So let's take a look at this sentence to spot the habit. A cup is used for drinking, but a plate is not. All right, let's talk this through. What do we know about the cup? Well, it is used for drinking, right? Yeah, we can see that. What do we know about the plate? It's not. Right? See, is something missing? Yeah, for sure, right? We don't know what the plate is used for. We just know what it is not used for. And that's that aha moment. We don't want to just tell information about one of the topics, the cup, and not give information about the plate. So when we say not, we really are not giving our reader enough information. Not thinking is really missing the thinking. It's actually a shortcut for our brains too. And we don't need that. We want our brains to be challenged and to grow and to get stronger every single day. So the big idea here is that we want to replace the not with details. So that's what strong writers do. And all of us here are strong writers. So let's think again about what is a plate used for? So there's that original sentence again. A cup is used for drinking, but a plate is not. And so now I want us to think about what is a plate used for? So pause the video, brainstorm some ideas of what you might put in those bubbles. All right, welcome back. So we brainstormed what a plate is used for. Maybe you have some of these ideas. A plate is used for eating food, holding food, serving food. Yeah, those are three different uses of a plate. So now we get to try out one or more of those bubbles in that revised sentence stem at the bottom. A cup is used for drinking, but a plate is used for eating food. A cup is used for drinking, but a plate is used for holding and serving food. Yeah, try it out. See if you can add one or more of those bubbles to the end of that revised sentence. All right. So on this slide, we have the original sentence. A cup is used for drinking, but a plate is not. Ooh, not good. We know we don't want to do that anymore. So now take a look at one of the many revised sentences that maybe you wrote down or practiced. A cup is used for drinking, but a plate is used for eating food. Yes, now we know what a plate is used for. So take out the not, say what it does. That's the way we want our brain to start processing anytime we want to revert to saying a not in our writing. All right, so on the following set of slides, we just have a lot of different topics that we get to practice this over and over. So here's the sentence. A crayon is for coloring, but a pencil is not. Okay, what does a pencil do? What is a pencil used for? Fill in those bubbles, take a moment, pause the video, talk it over, and add into your bubbles. All right. And so what you're going to do here is write one of your revised sentences. So I'm going to come in here and just type a crayon is for coloring, but a pencil is for writing. Maybe that's what you put. Or maybe it's for solving math problems, right? There's a lot of options here. It's not that there's only one right answer. So we want you to take time to brainstorm. So back on the slide, oops, wrong way. Let's go back to the slide here. We give you 3 bubbles. If you only fill in 2, that's great. Definitely do more than 1. But if you have more than 3, that's also great. Maybe there's 4 or 5 ideas that come out in your class and your discussion. That's fantastic. Add more bubbles. We want all those great ideas written down on your brainstorming design. Okay. But this is an example of one way that the crayon sentence and pencil sentence could be changed. A crayon is for coloring, but a pencil is for writing. So what word did we take out, everybody? Yeah, we took out not. And then what did we say instead? Yeah, we told what a pencil is for. It is for writing. Excellent. Okay, our next one, I gave you a sneak peek a minute ago when I clicked the wrong way, but let's talk about this one. A bird flies, but a fish does not. Read it with me, everyone. A bird flies, but a fish does not. Yeah, that would be interesting to see a fish flying, right? So now we have to change the not with what a fish does. So what do fish do? A bird flies, but a fish swims? What else does a fish do? Maybe you can take a few minutes to brainstorm that and see what else you could put into your bubbles here. So pause the video and see if you can find out what else a fish does. Okay. Maybe swim is the best one. A bird flies, in the sky. I see what we can work on here. A bird flies in the sky, but a fish swims. Yeah, that's the gist of it. But notice we have that in the sky added to our first part. What can we add to our second part of the sentence? So that's really what you can brainstorm back over here. We could say swims where? Where does a fish swim? In a pond. A fish swims in water. A fish swims in an aquarium or the ocean or rivers, right? There's a lot of places. So this is by no means all of them, but I love that we are getting lots of ideas of specific places. We're adding in those prepositional phrases. So maybe you brainstorm something like this in yours, and now we are adding it here to the revised sentence. A bird flies in the sky, but a fish swims where? In water. That would be our most kind of general tied to the way that the bird one is written. All right, so which sentence tells us more? Is it the original or the revised? Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, it's the revised sentence. And what does that new sentence tell you about the fish? Yeah, that not only that they swim, but where they swim. They swim in water. Excellent. Okay. Number 3, practice number 3. Soup is eaten with a spoon, but a sandwich is not. Ooh, we don't want the not. So what are we going to do? We're going to change that not with how a sandwich is eaten. So take a moment and think, how do you or how do other people eat a sandwich? All right, let's talk about what you might have put in your brainstorm. I'm going to start our sentence here. Soup is eaten with a spoon, but a sandwich is eaten with your hands or without utensils, right? That could be another way. Yeah, but a soup is eaten with a spoon, but a sandwich is, not eating. See, this is why we write out loud. All of us make bloopers in our writing, and it's important to catch them and work on them right in the moment. So soup is eaten with a spoon, but a sandwich is eaten with your hands. Perfect. Fantastic. That's a wonderful sentence here. And it's getting us more and more in the habit of replacing the not. So how does this new sentence help the reader understand the sandwich? What does it tell the reader about a sandwich? Yeah, it tells us how to eat it with our hands, right? And that's way more information than just not. Great. Okay, our last one. Shoes are for outside, but socks are not. Change the not with what? Yeah, with what socks are for. If shoes are for outside, then what are socks for? Okay, maybe we have something like shoes are for outside, but socks are to be worn inside. Shoes are for protecting our feet outside. Let's just add a little bit more here. Shoes are for protecting our feet outside, but socks are to be worn inside and keep our feet warm and comfortable. I know for me, socks keep my feet very comfortable in shoes, right? That's why I like to wear them. So this is just one idea of how you can work on even lengthening the sentence. That's why this is practice number 4. We want you to see that even sometimes the original sentence might be really basic and short, and that as you write it, you might say, wait a minute, wait a minute. Yes, I have to replace the not. And there's a lot of other information I also want to share, like you're seeing here. Shoes are for protecting our feet when we go outside, but socks are to be worn inside and keep our feet warm and comfortable. Yeah, I don't think that. So, but socks, let's see, shoes are for protecting our feet when we go outside, but socks are, let's just say, are worn uh, inside shoes and keep our feet warm and comfortable. Ooh, okay. This is getting better and better. Shoes are for protecting our feet when we go outside, but socks are worn inside shoes and keep our feet warm and comfortable. So it's a little bit of a play on inside outside, right? When we say when we go outside, we're really talking about like outdoors, right? Outside of being in our homes or in a room where we've taken our shoes off, right? But socks are meant to be worn inside the shoes, right? We put them on our feet first, then we put our shoes on. And then we're also telling more that they keep our feet warm and comfortable, which aligns with that shoes protect our feet. Ooh, okay. So, big class discussion here to wrap us up. How is this new sentence better than the original one? Yeah, so if you said anything along the lines of it tells more details, it helps the reader better understand shoes and socks and how they're different, you are on track. So as you do your writing, we really want you to pay attention to when your mind wants to say a not sentence or a not phrase and stop yourself and say, what are the details? Change the not into what it is. Think about the details that make it special. What makes shoes special versus what makes socks special? What makes a crayon special versus a pencil special? What makes a fish special versus a bird? So get your mind thinking about what makes the other topic special. And that's what you want to use to write your comparisons. So from here on out, use the skills that you learned from this lab to make your comparisons some of the strongest and most detailed.